Outside the restaurant, it smells of olive oil, wet pavement, and expensive perfume. Seattle weather as always. They promised sunshine, gave us drama instead. The wind pulls at my hair, and I feel the air trembling like something's about to happen. Tom and I approach Il Terrasso Carmine. Reservations at 6:30. He's wearing a blazer. Not the one I ironed, a new one. I smile, staying in character. We walk in. Almost everyone's already here. Mary waves at me. Joan in pearls, holding a glass of Chardonnay, smiles the way people do when they've worn the mask of "I'm fine" their whole lives. The kids are at another table with the nanny. Everything looks like we're a happy, grown-up couple with traditions and a tax advisor. I sit next to Tom. Order water with lemon. Not wine, not champagne. I want a clear head. The toasts begin. First Mary, then Tom's colleague Craig, the one I never know whether to hug or shake hands with. He says, "These two are proof that love can still be reliable like a Wells Fargo mortgage." Laughter. Tom squeezes my hand under the table. I don't move. Just look at him. He's the one who looks away first. And then, she appears. Like she's been cut from a glossy magazine. Young, blonde, waves, shine, heels. Not dressed. Styled. Her outfit says not "I just dropped by," but "I came to make a statement." She stops at our table. And with that perfectly American polite smile, the kind that hides knives, says, "Sorry to interrupt, I thought I recognized Tom. Mind if I join for a moment?" And just like that, the world pauses. Plates stop clinking. The restaurant goes soundless. Every head turns to her. Then to Tom. And that's when the movie starts. Tom pales. Not awkward pale. No pale, like a man who just remembered the past can walk right in through the front door. And I sip my lemon water, slowly, like I'm watching a new episode of Succession. Because in moments like this, the key is, don't blink. Watch. He tries to stand. Aman. He stumbles on her name. "Amanda, this is..." "Just for a minute," she repeats, looking not at him, at me. There's no fear in her eyes. Only curiosity. The kind a woman has when she knows she's holding the trump card. And she's ready to play it. I nod. "Of course. Have a seat. I love reunions." Amanda sits. Crosses her legs. Takes out her phone, places it on the table. Like a weapon. She looks at Tom. "You said she was strong." "Amanda, I just wanted to see if you were lying." Tom is speechless. He doesn't know where to look. At me? At Amanda? At the menu? Everyone else at the table pretends it's not happening. But glasses hang midair. Everyone's listening. Amanda turns to me. "Mrs. Miller, I'm truly sorry to disrupt, but when you live inside someone's life for long enough, eventually you want to step outside." I smile, almost gently. "Inside a lie? How strange. It's usually cold and cramped in there." "He said you didn't," she hesitates. "You didn't like public scenes." "I don't like surprises," I say, "but this one's not bad. I was wondering how this evening would be remembered." Tom whispers. "Sarah, I raise my hand. Too late, Tom. The director speaks now." Amanda opens her mouth, maybe to say more. But I look at her not with hate, with understanding. Because suddenly I'm not angry. I see her. She's not a thief. She's an outcome, a result of exhaustion, confusion, and maybe foolishness. I say, "Thank you for coming, Amanda. Really, that was enlightening." And then, "Now, if you'll excuse us, we're celebrating. 15 years, that's something after all." She stands. Looks at me. "You're stronger than I thought." "We usually are," I reply, right before the end credits, but my ending's still ahead. She leaves. Tom stays seated. Silent. Like the air's been sucked right out of him. And I look out the window. At the bay. At candlelight reflected in the glass. At myself. And for the first time in a long, long while, I feel alive. I can't say it happened suddenly. Number. Suddenly is when an air conditioner falls on you while you're walking down the street. But cheating. Cheating always starts with a whisper. Only later does it scream. It began, as it always does, with the little things. First, the late calls. Not the kind where you jump up because your mom's Wi-Fi broke again. The kind where he steps into another room and says, "Just a second, babe, it's work." At 11:47 p.m. On a Sunday. Tom is a project manager at a logistics company. What kind of logistics whispers in your ear at midnight? Then his moods begin to shift like Chicago weather. Yesterday, he joked about how I burned the toast. Today, he slammed the door because someone left a wet towel on the floor. It was him. But he blamed Emma. Emma cried. I wiped her tears and said, "Sometimes grown-ups don't even know where it hurts." But I knew. It was hurting in me. And that wasn't even the worst of it. One day, he went to shower and left his phone on the kitchen counter. The screen lit up. Name, Amanda W. I didn't check it. Not because I'm noble. Because he came back instantly, like he'd forgotten the key to his entire life. Snatched the phone, gave me a half smile. Just a client from Austin, their warehouse is on fire. Of course, I said, all clients have warehouse fires at night. Later I Googled, how do men behave when they cheat? It said, sudden change in routine. Obsession with working out? New haircut. New cologne. Takes phone to the bathroom. And I sat there, ticking them off one by one. You see, I'm not a spy. I don't walk around with a magnifying glass or check toilet flushes. I'm just a woman who finally found a reason to clean up the mosaic of lies. And when you start piecing together the puzzle, at first it feels incomplete. Like you're paranoid. Maybe you're overreacting. Then he comes home in a new shirt. And you know you didn't buy it. You remember that Target conversation, he said. Dark green doesn't suit me. But this shirt is green. And clearly not off the rack. It was chosen. Touched. Probably by a woman's hands. At some point, you stop being the one who's afraid. You become the one who observes. And honestly, it's strangely satisfying. I started noting the details. How he says, sweetheart, through clenched lips. How he checks his hair in the mirror before heading out just for bread. How he suddenly wears new socks even though a month ago he insisted he was fine with the ones full of holes. I called them micro-symptoms of family exit. Like the early signs of a cold. But instead of fever distance. Instead of a cough, random music in his earbuds at night. And instead of medicine, too much personal space. He started going to more business lunches. Even though he works in an office where they deliver sandwiches in cardboard boxes. I joked. So, how was your favorite power salad with a side of seduction today? He laughed. Nervously. Then stopped laughing altogether. Sometimes I caught myself talking to no one. At the stove. In the car. In the parking lot at Whole Foods. Sarah, you're not an idiot, I'd say aloud, but you sure act like comfortable furniture. And one night when he was working late again, I turned on the kitchen camera. Just to see how he looked at me. When he didn't know I was watching. Because I realized, it's not just about who he's with. It's about who he's becoming when he's with me. And also, he went quiet. Truly quiet. Not tired silent, but the kind of silence that comes when your head is already in another scene, with a different actor, a different script. Irony. I spent 15 years building a life where we could be silent together comfortably. And now he's silent just to avoid telling the truth. You know, I didn't cry. I just sat with a cup of coffee looking out the window thinking, I wonder, if I disappeared would he even notice? And as if in reply, the phone rang. Caller ID, Tom. I picked up. Yes? Hey, sweetheart, we're still on for Friday dinner, right? Just checking, want everything to go smoothly. Of course, I said. Everything's going according to plan. and silently added, "Just not yours. 15 years isn't just husband and wife anymore. It's when you know how he takes his coffee not because you asked, but because you automatically put in 1.5 teaspoons of sugar and just a touch too much cream. It's when his charger lives in your car, and you can't quite remember who first added the shared Spotify playlist because now everything is shared. Even the silence. Tom and I have been married for 15 years. And today is our anniversary." I woke up at 6:12. Not from the alarm, from the silence. The kind that's normal on the surface but has an edge to it, like the house is too quiet for a happy morning. The kids are still asleep, Zach and Emma, 11 and 9. They made me cards, one with me as a fairy with wings, the other of us all in Seahawks jerseys. Zach wrote, "Coolest mom in the stadium." And for a moment, I almost believed I really was cool. I made pancakes with blueberries. Tom likes blueberries. But today, he didn't eat, said he was late for the office. I nodded, kissed his cheek. And in that moment, I noticed he smelled different. Not like my detergent, not our sheets. Vanilla cashmere. A scent I don't wear. A scent I remember passing by at Victoria's Secret in the mall. But I said nothing. "We have dinner tonight. Il Terrazzo Carmine Classic Seattle. I made the reservation 3 weeks ago. Told the guy on the phone. It's a special night. I'd like a table by the window, view of the bay." He replied, "Of course, ma'am. We've got a little corner reserved for love." And I smiled into the phone. "Perfect. We've earned it." I sent out the invites, just close ones, no flash, no performance. Only the people who've been with us through it all. Tom's mom, Joan. My sister, Mary. Neighbors. Old college friends. Even our former nanny who now lives in Portland, but I insisted she come. Because, I don't know, I wanted it to look right. I wanted everyone to see we're still standing. 15 years, 2 kids, a mortgage in Queen Anne. Fights over the dog. Pediatrician bills. 3 a.m. Amazon purchases, and still together. I pick a dress, blue. Tom once said I look like Lake Tahoe in blue. Deep. Unpredictable. It sounded romantic back then. Now it sounds odd. But I wear the dress anyway. Makeup light. Hair soft waves. Earrings, the ones he got me on our 6th anniversary in San Francisco. I could have worn new ones, but I wanted something real today. Something from the time when things still felt sincere. When I didn't check my phone to make sure he wasn't cheating. Yeah. That's what you were waiting for, right? For me to say it out loud? But I'm not sure. I don't know. I do know. Just not entirely. Sometimes you already know, you're just scared to admit it. Knowing isn't a sudden jolt. It's residue. It builds up, like the grounds at the bottom of a coffee cup. And you're just waiting for the moment when you can't take another sip without choking on it. I look at my hands at my ring finger. The ring fits perfectly, like it's always been there. Maybe it always was. Even when he... Their number. Not now. Today is a celebration. I turn on music in the kitchen. Norah Jones. Because she's calm. Because she sounds like nothing's wrong. Because I still want to believe that we're okay. Zach runs in. "Mom, are you sure Dad won't forget?" "He won't," I say. "He's got a memory like an elephant." He nods, satisfied. And in that moment, I already know. I know Tom will come. I know he'll sit down at the table. I know he'll smile. And I know he won't be alone. But for now, I play my part. The final act is still ahead. You know what's always amazed me about the theater? How actors can hold a mask even when their world is falling apart backstage. Today, I found out I'm better at it than I ever thought. Amanda, yes, that Amanda is still here. No, she didn't throw a drink at Tom. Didn't burst into tears. Didn't storm out. Number. She decided to stay. As if she were invited. As if this were her celebration too. She's sitting there like she didn't just blow up a family dinner, but dropped by as a sweet old college acquaintance. She turns to Mary and says, "Oh, your bracelet, so elegant. Where did you get it?" And Mary, my best friend, is looking at me like, what the actual hell is happening? And me, I smile. See this smile? It's not anger. It's theater. I'm the director now. Amanda's chatting with the kids. Yes, you heard right. With the kids. You must be Joshua. I heard you're into baseball. And Josh, my 10-year-old, nods awkwardly because his mom taught him to be polite, even with strangers. And you're Abby? Your braids are just the cutest. Abby, my 6-year-old, hides behind the nanny. Good girl. And I'm just sitting, watching, like I'm seeing a fox waltz into the hen house, and instead of attacking, she just sits and sips her tea. Tom says nothing. He's like a ghost at his own celebration. Not eating, not drinking, not even pretending to control the situation. And this is the man who always loved control. Loved being the captain of our little family ship. And now? He's overboard. I hear Amanda tell someone. It's so lovely to finally meet everyone. Tom's told me so much. Tom told so much. That's the moment I break the silence. I turn to her and calmly ask, "And you are who exactly? A friend? A colleague? Former nanny?" She smiles. Just someone who's known Tom for a long time. And she looks at him, so warmly. As if the three of us are characters in a Netflix rom-com. I pick up my fork. Stab the salad. Slowly. Wordless. Because if I speak now, this scene will become the final act. And I have a plan. Inside a hurricane. Outside a polite calm. That's when you realize being a woman means wearing 1,000 masks. And if you have to pretend better, do it like a pro. The restaurant stirs back to life. Laughter from other tables, waiters bringing out dessert. Life moves on like nothing happened. But at our table? A mini Broadway. Amanda starts telling a story about their trip to LA. How they got lost downtown and ate tacos from a street cart. Mary nearly chokes on her wine. I look at her. And I nod. Yes. You heard that right. I don't even know what to call this part of the evening. It's not betrayal. Not farce. It's a rehearsal. For the woman I no longer want to be. Tom finally speaks. "Sarah, maybe we should talk. Just the two of us?" I turn to him. Look him straight in the eye. No rage. No hysteria. Only cold, piercing clarity. "No, Tom. Tonight I don't want to be alone with a lie." Amanda says nothing. Her lips press into a thin line. She sees I'm not weak. That I won't be crying in the restroom, asking what's wrong with me. Because you know what? There's nothing wrong with me. It's them, they lost the script. I finish my salad. Look around the table. And I realize I'm no longer part of this illusion. I'm its author. And the next scene? I've already written it. There are moments when you don't feel the ground beneath your feet. Not because you've lost balance, but because you're standing on something stronger than earth. Your own decision. It's the moment when everything is already done. You just have to walk it to the final note. I stood up. Tom muttered something. "Sarah." I smiled. Not theatrically sincerely. The kind of smile that appears when you finally stop being a character in someone else's play. I picked up my bag, took out a small flash drive black unmarked. Turned to the restaurant manager, Jacob, young guy, maybe 25, shirt neatly tucked, earpiece like a Secret Service agent. I walked over and said evenly, calmly, "Excuse me, can we connect a video to the main screen? It's part of the program, a family surprise." He lit up. "Of course, ma'am, always happy to help." That was it. The launch button was pressed. I went back to the table. Saturday down. Took a sip of lemon water. Not champagne water. I needed clarity. The lights in the hall dimmed. Only the screen was lit now, and the tiny candlelights on the cake waiting at the end of the table. The kids whispered, "Mom, is this video about us?" I smiled. "Yes, sweetheart, about our family." First frame, a wedding photo. Young Tom in an ivory suit. Me in a lace-top gown. The room sighed. Mary wiped a tear. Then the screen went black. 2 seconds later, white text on a dark background. 15 years, 2 kids, 1 lie. Silence. Someone set their fork down. Then screenshots. Messages. Tom writes, "I'm in Chicago, checked in, thinking of you." Next to it, a photo from Los Angeles. Amanda holding his hand. Next, a selfie of them in a car, with geotag. The date, the day he told me he was working late. Someone Uncle Paul murmured, "Holy shit." Amanda turned pale. She was no longer the confident woman who had entered the room with a breezy smile. Now, she stared at the screen like it was a verdict. "Tom?" He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. The kids didn't understand, but Abby sensed something. She pressed into me. I hugged her and whispered, "It's okay, just watch Mommy." Next clips Zoom footage. Tom in a meeting, thinking his mic is off. Amanda walks into the frame and he says, "I'll fix it soon. Sarah doesn't suspect anything. Just not yet." Mary grips her husband's hand. Waiters freeze by the wall. A couple at a nearby table pretends they're still on a date, not in the front row of an apocalypse. Then the final slide. Truth doesn't need words, it just turns on. And a photo of our family. Tom, Sarah, the kids years ago. The last frame. Lights back on. Silence, heavy as a vacuum. I stood up, looked Tom in the eye, and calmly said, "I didn't ask because I didn't want an answer. I showed you because I deserve the truth." He tries to speak. "Sarah, I didn't mean You wanted comfort. I chose clarity." I turned to the children, held them close, and said, "Time to go home, sweethearts. Our evening is over." I walked out first. Mary followed. Then the kids. Behind Tom, only silence. And somewhere deep inside, I felt this wasn't the ending. It was the release. Sometimes the truth doesn't come like a storm, not as shattered plates or tears in the bathroom. Sometimes it arrives as exhaustion. A deep, precise, colorless exhaustion. It was a Tuesday. The kids were at school. Tom was on a business trip or so, he said. I was rinsing a mug that said Mom Fuel when his iPad screen lit up. A message. From A. It's not like I was snooping. I was just a wife with no illusions left. Unlocking the tablet wasn't hard. I knew the passcode. It hadn't changed in years. Because Tom always believed, if you lie quietly, you'll never get caught. But Tom forgot one thing. I'm a woman whose hope had finally died. And when hope dies, a plan is born. The messages between him and Amanda, yes, that was her name, were almost laughable. She sent him beach selfies from Santa Monica. He replied with friends gifs. They called each other my tiger and your she-wolf. Honestly, even cheating could have had more elegance. I kept scrolling and thought, Sarah, you're not stupid, and you're no actress either. Just stop. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel pain. Only a sharp, icy clarity. I made a coffee, Saturday down at the laptop, opened a new note and typed a title. Project 15 years and 1 ending. The next day, I went to see Julie. Julie is my friend with 3 kids, 2 divorces, and 0 illusions. She runs karaoke nights and rents out projectors for family parties. She has everything. Mics, speakers, even a disco ball. I said, I need a projector for the evening, for visual support. Julie put down her mug and looked at me. Are you planning to kill him? Number just bury his fairy tale. She nodded. You got a flash drive? I will. The next few days, I gathered screenshots, photos, call logs, even a recording of a Zoom meeting where he accidentally called Amanda Sunshine. I didn't become a victim. I became the editor of my finale. I chose the music. No, not dramatic, no violins. I picked an old song from our wedding playlist. Norah Jones' Come Away With Me. Because irony is dignity's best friend. Each slide wasn't a punch. It was a question. Here it is, the truth. See it? Or are you still going to lie? While I edited the video, the kids watched cartoons in the next room. And I added timestamps, geotags, snippets of their texts. You're my best secret, he wrote her. Okay, Tom. Let's open season on secrets. And you know what's strange? I didn't cry. Didn't scream into a pillow. I was like a surgeon. Precise. Methodical. With a love for clean incisions. And then, a few days before our perfect anniversary, I placed the flash drive inside a ring box. Yes. That ring. The diamond one from our 10-year mark. And put it in my bag. The projector was with Julie. The restaurant confirmed. The guests invited. The kids were making cards. And I knew. When the moment came, if words failed, the footage would speak for me. When you play a video like that, there's no way back. You're not just exposing the truth. You're exposing yourself. The screen lights up again. Tom and Amanda in the parking lot of the Hyatt Regency Bellevue. Time 10:43 p.m. He's holding her hand. She's laughing. He wraps his arm around her waist. I speak calm, measured. My voice comes through the microphone like a sports commentator's. And here, ladies and gentlemen, Tom says he's tired. But not of work, not of traffic on the I-5. No, he's tired of his wife. The wife who sees too much, yells too little, and understands too well. Dead silence in the room. Next clip footage from the hotel lobby camera. They're checking in. Tom laughs, leans into Amanda's ear. She brushes her hand across his chest. Here, he says he's found real intimacy. Didn't specify, though, why real intimacy requires so much secrecy. So many hotel rooms, and so much deodorant that smells like someone else. No one laughs. People aren't ready to laugh. But a few lower their eyes. I'm sure they had their own Amandas. A recording from inside the room. No explicit content, just shadows, silhouettes, soft sounds. She giggles. He whispers something. On screen, subtitles appear. With her, I breathe. Sarah never notices when I disappear. And that's true, I say to the room. I didn't notice because I trusted. Not because I was blind, but because I chose to love, even when it would have been easier not to. Next scene, a short selfie video from Amanda. She's filming herself in his shirt. The hotel view behind her. She says, I hope he finds the courage soon. He deserves better. I add, and on that, I absolutely agree. He deserves the truth. And the truth is me. Speaking into this microphone. In front of everyone. No screaming, no drama, just facts and silence. Someone in the back exhales. Damn. I turn to Amanda. Sweetheart, you were worried he might not make a decision. Don't worry, tonight he did. Just in the wrong direction. Tom sits frozen. He's crushed the napkin in his hand into dust. I walk over to the projector. The video ends on the final frame. Tom, the kids, and me. A picnic in the park. He's holding all of us close. The face of a happy man. Maybe back then he wasn't lying. Or maybe he already was. On screen, a final line appears. I wanted to believe. Now I simply know. I switch off the projector. Still silence. Amanda sits like a schoolgirl called to the principal's office. Tom can't lift his head. I speak into the mic. That was a family chronicle. Thank you for watching. Everything you saw wasn't a movie. It was my life. And now it's mine again. I lower the microphone. and I'm the first to walk away. The silence that follows the truth is always the loudest. No one claps. No one breathes too loud. Someone in the corner pushes back a chair. It scrapes like a torn note. At the table are parents, a couple of friends, Tom's former colleagues from Microsoft. The ones who, for years, saw us as the perfect couple from Kirkland. The couple that's so steady and solid. The couple that looks like a promo for morning coffee. In a $1 million home on Instagram. And now, Tom is staring at a single spot. Amanda is beside him, and for the first time all evening she's quiet. The confident shine in her eyes is gone. She's starting to realize she didn't just come to the wrong dinner. She walked into the wrong story. I turned to the kids. Lucas, 13. Emmy, 9. They didn't understand everything, but they understood enough. Mom showed something that made the world stop. And now, they're searching my eyes, asking, "Are we okay?" I lean toward them, wrap them in both arms, and whisper loud enough for others to hear if they want. This isn't about hate, it's about truth. And I'm still your mom. Just now a free one. Emmy grips me tighter. Lucas gives a small nod. He's older. He's already figured out how things work. He knows that lies aren't just betrayal. They're rust, slowly eating away at the frame until it collapses. I pick up my bag. No rush, no drama. As if I'm not leaving a restaurant, but stepping off a stage where I delivered the final line. And now it's time for the dressing room. To peel off someone else's skin. To breathe. I look at Tom. He still doesn't speak. Maybe, for the first time in 15 years, he doesn't have a script. Maybe, for the first time, he actually heard me. Not the words. The silence between them. I turn to the waiter, frozen by the wall, unsure what to do. "You can continue the dinner, it's all paid for. Just don't serve them dessert. It'll taste bitter." Pause. "And for the kids, please pack the cheesecake. They've earned something sweet." Lucas chuckles. Emmy too. They already get it. This isn't defeat. This is a beginning. We leave. Outside, it's already getting dark. Seattle, in the evening light, looks like the backdrop to a film where the heroine finally realizes she's not a supporting character. She's the director. And now she's writing the script herself. Behind us, the restaurant. Tom, Amanda. And a party no one will ever again call a family celebration. Ahead of us, not loneliness, but space, air. And the road home, where everything starts anew. When I woke up the next morning, the house was unusually quiet. But it wasn't the kind of silence that tightens your chest. It was the silence of liberation. As if the walls had stopped lying. I stood in the kitchen, brewing coffee. Not 2 cups, just 1. Not because I was angry, but because I wasn't going to make coffee for 2 out of habit anymore. My phone started vibrating. Once, twice. Then like a machine gun. First, Julie. "Sarah, the video is everywhere." Then a message from Lauren, a friend from my MBA course, whom I hadn't spoken to in years. "You did the impossible, goddess, level respect." I opened TikTok, the first feed. Title, "She didn't throw a tantrum, she made a film." 10 million views. On the screen, me. The projector. That moment when I turn to Amanda and say, "Today he made a choice, just not the right one." Thousands of comments. This isn't revenge, it's a masterpiece. My mom sent me this with the note, "Learn how to leave with dignity." I cried. I divorced 2 years ago and only now I understand it could have been graceful. Next up, BuzzFeed. Seattle woman exposes husband on anniversary. Projector, truth, and 0 screaming drama. TikTok can't calm down. The podcast I listened to on my way to work, Modern Matriarch, calls it an act of radical honesty. They don't even know it's me. Not yet. In my email, 217 new messages. Most with the same subject. "Thank you for speaking for all of us." A woman from New Jersey, 58 years old, with 2 grandchildren writes, I left my husband after 30 years, but never could say why. You did it for me. A guy from Austin writes, my mom is like you, quiet, strong, but silent. You gave her a voice. But you know what matters most? Not the likes. Not the headlines. Not even the emails, though I read every single one. What matters is that I didn't flinch. I didn't let anger warp me. I didn't become my husband's shadow or a caricature of a hurt wife. I stayed myself. I didn't destroy a family. I took off its mask. And now, for the first time in a long time, when I look in the mirror, I see not a victim, not a wife, not a viral video heroine, just Sarah, alive, real, and, damn it, strong. A little over 3 months have passed. We now live in an apartment on Madison Street, 3rd floor, windows facing the park, old brick walls, and a silence you don't have to earn. It just is. The kids adapted quickly. Lucas picked up the guitar, playing in his room as if exhaling everything he didn't say that night. Emmy draws, mostly women on fire. I don't ask. I just smile because I understand. She's learning not to be afraid of the power inside her. Of course I'm working. Writing a book. It's called End to May. How to survive when there's another woman in your life, and there's you. It's not about revenge. Not about scandals. It's about how not to lose yourself in someone else. How to stay true to yourself, even when you're pressured to be the convenient version. One day, I get an email from TEDx Seattle. An invitation. They saw the interview. They saw the video. You're not just a heroine, Sarah. You're a voice. Would you like to speak on our stage? I say yes. I'm on stage in a black jumpsuit, no ring. My hair loose, my voice steady. I look at the audience and say, we were taught to be keepers of the hearth. But no one told us that sometimes you wake up and see the hearth is empty. That all this time you were keeping not warmth, but smoke. But you know what I realized? A woman isn't just a keeper of the hearth. She is the fire. The room is silent, then applause. But even if they hadn't applauded, it wouldn't matter anymore. I said it not for them. I said it for the part of me that once was afraid to leave the comfort of a lie. And in the evening, an ordinary evening, I laugh with my kids. Emmy puts 2 slices of toast in the toaster. Lucas hums along to John Mayer in the kitchen. I don't think about the past. I just eat avocado toast and watch their smiles. Not because everything became perfect. Perfect isn't what life is about. But because now it's honest.